Hello and welcome to this special Ethiopian episode. I'm going to be making misir, which is one of my all-time favorite foods. I've been eating it for years. This dish is near and dear to my heart because I'm Ethiopian. I love spicy red lentils. That's what this dish is. I've made misir before, but this is going to be a new recipe. I couldn't find the previous recipe that I used to follow, so I just went on Google and Googled vegan misir recipes, and I found this one that got very good reviews. There's 10 ingredients in this recipe for the cooked lentils. I'll run through them very quickly for you, and then I'll give you a close-up of what this is. This is the very distinctive flatbread that you eat Ethiopian food with. First things first, 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'll be sauteing the vegetables in the olive oil. There's 1 medium yellow onion. The recipe says to use 3 cloves of garlic, but there has to be more cloves than what the recipe says because I love garlic so much. I love this type of tomato. I'm not sure if it's a Roma tomato. Since they're so small and the recipe didn't specify which tomato to use, like which kind of tomato to use, I decided to go with just these 2 little guys. There is this organic tomato paste, 2 tablespoons of this. There's 2 tablespoons of berbere spice. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's a spice blend that's in a lot of Ethiopian food. Next, of course, we've got these red lentils. I actually got this bag for Christmas. I'll be cooking the lentils in 2 cups of vegetable broth. I also set out the type of soup base that I like to use for my cooking. It's called Better Than Bouillon, and it's vegan. Finally, there's 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of water, depending on how thick you want the lentils to be. And then there's also sea salt to taste. I think I'll go a little bit light on the salt just because the soup base is already pretty salty. Let me give you a quick idea of how all of these ingredients are going to come together for the cooked lentils. First, I'll heat up the olive oil in the skillet over there. I'll add the onions, so I'm going to dice this guy up into little pieces. Cook off the onion for about 5 minutes. Once the onion is done cooking in the olive oil, I'll throw in the garlic cloves, the tomatoes, the berbere spice, and the tomato paste. I'll mix all of that together, and then I throw in the red lentils, 1 cup of that, the vegetable broth, and then a 1/4 cup of water with a bit of salt. After that, it's very easy. Everything cooks in the saucepan for about 35 to 40 minutes, and then depending on the thickness of the lentils, I may add just a little bit more water. That covers it for the lentil ingredients. Now, the star of the show, the injera bread. Let me show you first just what the label looks like. I really like this brand, Shega Injera. Traditionally, injera is made with this seed that comes from a native grass that grows in Ethiopia. The seed is called teff. I think it's become more popular in the United States. It's been branded as a superfood. I was actually snacking on this when I got home. I love it. I really think you can just eat it as a snack. This is what injera looks like. It's pretty spongy. Definitely has a tangy flavor because of the teff seeds. That's just kind of naturally how teff tastes. The rule of thumb for judging injera is to make sure that it has many eyes, quote unquote eyes, so lots of these holes you see. I'm gonna get this injera bread all sealed up because it can dry out pretty quickly if you leave it open. For now, I'm gonna chop up the onion, the tomatoes, the cloves of garlic, and then once that's done, I'll bring you over to my stovetop and show you how everything comes together in the saucepan. I'm all finished making the misir. I've also plated up one like roll of injera bread. I folded the edges so it wouldn't be drooping off the side, but just to give you another close-up of this delicious flatbread. Typically when you eat at an Ethiopian restaurant or at an Ethiopian family's house, they'll serve little rolls of injera too. So I took a different circle of injera bread and rolled up a half of it so I could just like eat off of this plated injera bread. And then the best part is eating up this injera on the plate that has soaked up all of the sauce and all the flavor from the misir wat. Without further ado, let's get this plated up. So excited. I'll try not to spill it. A lot of Ethiopian women pride themselves on their cooking. I think they would be at least okay with how I've done with this misir wat. Certainly, I wouldn't expect it to be the best, but I do think the color turned out great, the cook on the lentils. Let's see. Gonna just dive right in. Oh, and I should say too, while I'm doing this, for those of you who are brand new and you've never seen Ethiopian food being eaten before, I mean, you just saw me tear off a little piece of this roll, and then I just use it to pick up like a chunk of the food, you know, like that. Doesn't have to be a huge bite. And then you just eat it with your hands. The Burberry spice is so iconic. I love it. And I put it in other foods too. Like if you watched my breakfast for dinner vlog, I made breakfast potatoes with Burberry spice. I've made popcorn with Burberry spice. It's just so good. And it adds beautiful color to whatever you're cooking. For those of you who are new to Ethiopian cuisine, I'm happy I could introduce you to one of the many Ethiopian dishes, and of course, the traditional Ethiopian bread injera. Thank you for tuning in to this Ethiopian misir wat episode. I hope you enjoyed seeing me prepare this cuisine and maybe learning something new. I'll see you in the next episode on this channel. Bye!